Hey there, future me. It's currently Sunday evening, and this is actually the second time I'm trying to record the audio for this video. I think the first time I was a little bit too jittery, but I guess after you kind of rush out oh man, I should probably sit down and record, but at the same time I'm worried that I won't be able to gather my words energy, then I think it's a lot better. Anyways, I guess I've been a bit slow recently to making videos. I've been recording audio. As of now, I have yet to upload the previous audio for or the last video. I have the audio recorded, but I haven't sat down to play video game. It's actually kind of weird to think about it because you'd think that the harder part would be making the sitting down and actually recording the meat of the video, which is the audio, instead of just I guess the soup, which is the video game footage. But yeah, I guess here we are. I have audio, but there's meat but no soup. So I guess I should be better at that. Anyways, I initially actually wanted to record this Saturday evening when I had gotten back from getting groceries, just kind of to remark on how I currently live. I think right now, I live rather simply. Being a grad student doesn't pay handsomely, but I think it pays enough to live, right? I'm able to pay rent and not have to worry about that, and I don't really have to worry about groceries too much. But currently, what I buy is just rather simple. It's usually bread, frozen vegetables, fruit, and canned food, right? So, and I guess I also have rice, oats, and beans, and all that jazz, right? I'm currently making rather simple food. Fruit is just kind of something that take out of the fridge and just wash it, or just keep it outside and eat it, right? Bread is just bread. You can just take it out and eat it. Sometimes if you're feeling really fancy, you can put peanut butter on it, or maybe even cream cheese. Wow, shocking, I know. And then frozen veg, just pop in the microwave and cook it and have it with some rice that I can make in big batches with the Instapot that I have. But I've been living rather simply, but I think it's, for the most of it, nutritionally complete. I don't think I'm missing out. I don't think I'm malnourished, but it's all rather simple, which is just kind of how things are right now. I think the thing that I wanted to talk about was just kind of how it's a bit strange to think that my standards are a lot lower than other people's. In the sense that it takes very little to keep me happy in this way. I remember talking with one of my friends from high school, and he was telling me about how if he ate oatmeal every day, or the stuff that I eat, he would go mad. He would want to every once in a while go out someplace and have something fancy, or have something something that's considered nice, right? But instead, I don't really feel the need to do that, right? If my friends want to go to some place to eat, yeah, sure, I'll tag along with them, right? Because it's more convenient to go chat and then order food than it is to, well, make your own food and have to focus on that instead of, continuing the conversation, or eating's like a social event, right? So it's just kind of it's something that I do if other people are around, but I haven't I guess eaten out on my own in quite some time, nor have I ordered food for myself, I guess, too much. Okay, well, I guess sometimes whenever I'm really busy, right? If I'm on campus and I need to meet with prof in an hour, and I need to work on something, then I'll go meet with prof, and then afterwards, if I'm hungry, I'll run downstairs and go to one of the other buildings where they have this deli and get a sandwich or something. But otherwise, I don't eat out, I guess, for enjoyment, because I feel I'm already rather content with what I have. And I guess I guess being content with what I have is a bit double-edged at times, because I think it can allow me to become complacent. Although the benefits of being content with the current, I guess, food situation is that there's a lot of savings. I don't because I don't buy the fancy foods, and I'm not really one for I guess microwave meals, or I don't eat out often. It's just kind of if you buy bulk food and all that, you end up saving a lot of money as a result. But I guess, and this is good, right? This is a good situation. I am living well within my means, right? I end up saving a lot of money each month as a result so far. I'm not trying to save money. It's I'm not going out of my way to be I need to save this much money, right? This month, and so I can only afford these things. It's more just want to get this, cool, you got it. yeah, we could get like Oreos or something, but maybe we'll just like have those like at like the next social gathering or something whenever they're like brought for everyone anyways. Um, so yeah, like it's good to save money, but like the downsides, I guess, is complacency in the sense that if I keep buying very simple things, then I don't really get the opportunity to cook stuff, right? I think I've been wanting to get better at like cooking my own food. Well, I mean, I still make my own food right now, but I don't really think like putting stuff into an Instapot, like adding water and then closing the thing and pushing a button really counts as like cooking. It's not very active. Similarly, putting stuff into the microwave and heating that up is also not very active. Like I want to be able to cook more fancy things, right? Like dice ups, like more consistently, make like stir fry or something, right? I already can. It's just a matter of doing it more often. But as of now, like it seems that the near term gain of like making stir fry for myself is not that great, right? If I make stir fry for myself, it tastes kind of fancy, right? And I can like work on my technique. But what if instead of making stir fry, I spent that time either, but I could play video games or I could watch like YouTube video or like in most cases actually like what if I just like stayed in my office, right? And I just like kept working instead of like going home and making food. And so there isn't a real near term. The near term benefit, I suppose, exists, but it doesn't seem to be. It seems to be additional, right? It's a plus, but not doing it doesn't make not doing it is not a minus, right? Not doing it is just the neutral. This is the standard. The bar is here, so there's no point. Like I could go above and beyond, but if I don't, then it's not bad. There's no fire under me, I guess, to keep me wanting to. Man, I gotta cook, right? There is some fire, but like it's more of like a long term thing, right? It's just kind of the idea that if I when I grow up, I want to become responsible adult guy, able to make food for like his family and all that stuff. But as of now, like the family is just me, and I feel like, well, I know like what gets me across the line. So yeah, but I guess if I eventually want to be able to appeal to future mates or attract potential mates and or take care of kids or like even just like be contribute to like social gatherings involving foodstuffs, right? Then I should be able to cook more intricate things, and I should be able to do it at a more consistent rate because I reckon that like, once like living with a partner or having a kid, right? My parents like always made really nice food for me when I was growing up, or well, my dad sometimes would be a little bit creative and he'd prioritize nutrition over flavor sometimes, and there were some rather interesting concoctions, but the fact that he still like made like some form of like food actively like cooking for probably at least like half an hour if not more every day is like pretty that's like that's something that I would want to do in the future, right? And so if we look at that like where he is and like where I am, it's like, oh man, there's a lot of a lot of catch up to do. So there's certainly some like long term like thing to like I want to be here eventually, but I don't really feel like an urge to do it now. I guess by acknowledging this, I'm kind of like dogging on myself for like, oh man, you're a little bit too satisfied, right? The satisfaction becomes it's better described as maybe complacency in this context. Another like thing about being complacent is just kind of sometimes, well, I guess like so I try to like come up with these mechanisms to make myself less complacent, like buying food. It's like, let's see if I Brussels sprouts are on sale. If I buy the Brussels sprouts, then I'll like have to make them. And this does kind of end up happening, right? Like if I buy things, I do end up cooking them, but sometimes that doesn't happen, right? I'm a bit neglectful and then it just kind of goes bad, right? Like I remember, I bought like two bell peppers a few weeks ago. I made one of them like almost instantly, and then the other one just kind of sat in the fridge for a while until it wrinkled and eventually became bad. And I was kind of like, oh man, that's kind of bad. Actually, so I guess I suppose like future me will probably like laugh at this. I mean, I think it's like a bit comedic, but it's also a bit embarrassing and shameful. I don't know what like outsiders will think of this, so I hope that future you, whether me or not, isn't like too appalled, and hopefully you can just find this as like Lamau, this guy's an idiot, haha. So I like today I threw out like two items that have been sitting in my fridge since the dawn of time. So like one of them was like this box of grapes that like had a yeah I don't know how long it's been in there if I'm to be entirely honest with you. It might have like come from like my old apartment, which I moved out of like about a year ago. So that's kind of bad. Yeah, they'd been in the fridge for so long to where they just like basically became like they turned into raisins. Like they became fridge dried raisins. Oh man, my phone's going off. Gotta put this on vibrate. Okay. Like so I like ended up having these like fridge dried raisins that were just sitting in the back of my fridge. And at some point I recognized, okay, look, if I eat these, I'm probably gonna like have a bad time. So I'm just gonna see what happens to them, you know. And then like the other item was like this whole like do you call them head? Yeah, I guess like a head of like Napa cabbage, right? That like I bought like probably God like half a year ago, and I had just like let it like sit in my fridge, and like I was gonna like I told myself like before leaving for winter break I would like make like soup with it or something, but I just didn't have the time because I was still taking classes and also probably just like maybe using classes as an excuse would be giving myself too much credit. I just didn't get to making it, and it eventually just started aging, and so I was like, okay, I guess I'll just keep it in there to once again for giggles like see what happens to it. Well, we'll do a little bit of science, right? And so like it gradually yellowed until today I eventually threw it out because I realized that like it had produced a lot of brown water. Delightful. Yeah, great. Yeah, so I tossed out the demon cabbage and like the fridge dried grapes, and I guess that's like it's I guess like I suppose I could pass it off as like, oh, look at me, I'm like such a klutz, but it's also like if I'm to be a bit more serious, it's like, what the hell are you doing, man? You lazy bastard! Like, make your food. It's like if why would you buy it if you don't actually like make it, idiot? Right? But yeah, I don't know. I guess this is like this somehow like I'm still partially complacent, right? Like I see this stuff and I'm like, man, this kind of sucks, but I guess like next time in order to prevent this instead of like wasting the food, what if I just didn't buy it? But then I would be defaulting to like the thing again where I just kind of buy simple food and like eat simply, which once again I guess isn't bad given the current situation as I'm not like malnourishing myself, but I know that eventually I want to get to some point. And another aspect of it is it would probably be nice to be able to make food for other people right now, right? Or like to have at least like have these like things on hand and not have to like make a run to the grocery store just to buy like special foods to make for people if we have like social gatherings and stuff. It's a weird mix because I feel like there are some things that I do, right? Like I do like that I'm glad that I'm able to be like satisfied with sliced bread because I feel like if I eventually became unsatisfied by sliced bread and I wanted like something better, I don't know, like maybe gourmet bread. Wow. Or like, I needed like every time I had bread, like I would need to put like butter on it or something or else I would be like unsatisfied. Like if I raise the standards, that just it seemingly creates more inconvenience like for me, I guess in the now with not really much to gain. I can at least recognize that like if I'm just okay with eating like rice every day and like nothing else, then okay, that's I wouldn't be okay with that because I feel like I'd have like maybe a hard time pooping due to lack of fiber or like something else, right? I'd probably want to push myself in the nutrition aspect, but besides that, it's like there doesn't seem to be like a need for that, and it's kind of nice to be able to be happy with very little, right? But sometimes like maybe there are situations to where I would need to have a little bit more, maybe not necessarily for me but for other people, right? Like partners, friends, kids, right? And so in order to get there I have to give myself a reason, but I don't really that reason doesn't seem to be too it's not in the foreground right now, right? It's further away. And so hopefully, or well, not hopefully, but maybe what I'll do is I'll try to create incentives, right, to get me to do this stuff more, right? Maybe like invite my friends over, or like we can do this kind of, or to make it like not like just like I'm making you food and you should eat my food, right? You want to be a part of an experiment? Maybe like instead of doing that, we'll be like, hey, you want to, I'll make something, you make something, we all make something. We just kind of have like a potluck, right? That'd be pretty cool. Yeah, maybe we'll do something like that, and then that'll, I guess, incentivize me to learn to cook things better. But for now, I guess, I mean, I don't know. Like I'm hyping this up, but I don't actually know if I'll follow up with this. I suppose like this does kind of tie back into like a lot of the, once again, like the self projects thing, the self evolution thing, like when do I grow up? There are these things that I want to do, but I don't really feel to, I can't really let myself down. It's like, or can I really let myself down? Right? I'm the one who makes all the decisions. It kind of ties back into all that stuff. I mean, one of the reasons as to why I wanted to make this YouTube channel is because maybe the external pressure, I guess, of like, okay, I said I was going to make the YouTube channel, I put on my intro, yet another young adult starts yet another self-project, which is likely to be discontinued in a few weeks, and the idea of making that a self-fulfilling prophecy is rather bad, right? So I'm trying to create external things to I'm trying to create external deadlines, I guess, to motivate myself a little bit more, but I also partially fear that, like, what if by, like, cooking more intricate things regularly, I become, like, discontent with my current standard of living, right? I want to be flexible. I want to have the lowest standards out of anyone, like, else, like, in the group of friends, so that, like, if the going gets tough, then, like, I can what does he even mean by the going gets tough? It's like, oh no, you can only eat sliced bread and you can't have nice food. But, like, there's probably a better way of phrasing it, but I think future me will hopefully understand where I'm coming from. Just, like, being flexible and being happy with very little. Maybe we'll just keep it at that. Being happy with very little. Yeah. I want to be able to be happy with very little, and I fear that if I try to make my life more, I guess, fancy or intricate, sophisticated somehow, then I will eventually be unhappy with very little, right? I'll start, like, wanting to, like, yes, like, sliced bread is cringe now. Like, sliced bread with butter is now the norm, right? And then over time, maybe it just gets fancier and fancier, and that's great and all. I guess, like, eventually I'll be making all these, like, gourmet meals or something, just, like, at norm, just kind of, like, reflexively. But what am I really gaining from this? And is that really something that I want to, right? Like, I don't want to, I guess, put myself to a point to where if I don't have, like, these things, then I'm in trouble, because I think, like, well, I guess me right now, I'm already, like, unable to do this, and I think, like, what if, like, if something becomes the norm, and it's, like, this, like, very established thing, that's great if it never goes away, but what will I do whenever it goes away? But maybe, like, I'm thinking a little bit too far ahead for now, right? And maybe that's something for future me to worry about. I think if, I guess, near future me is a bit careful, I guess, with my mentality towards what I think of, like, nice food, and as long as I can still appreciate and be grateful, I guess, for just sliced bread on its own, then I'll be fine, right? And maybe I should just kind of keep trying. I guess this is hopefully a bit more of an optimistic tune, I suppose, compared to, like, the bootstraps and boredom video, where it was like, I have to go do things, or else, like, no one else will. So yeah, maybe it's just kind of like we gotta take it one step at a time, make external deadlines, and do all that. But yeah, I guess that's all I have for today. I hope that whenever I sit down to record the audio for next week, my goal this summer is to try to make, like, a video every week. I think that's pretty consistent, but I hope that when I sit down to record the audio next week, then I'll actually have uploaded this video and also, like, the previous audio's video and all that. But yeah, well, hopefully see you in a week, future me. Until then.